All right, let me do the intro, not you. You could jump in a second. So, my mate, he was desperate to jump in the show, but let me just say a few words.
Jump in,
Welcome.
jump in.
Welcome to the Happiness Show. It's a Happiness Weekly class where you can ask your questions. Wahid's dying to ask lots of interesting questions as well. Do check out previous shows at bigquestionsanswer.com. Yes, the shows happen every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. UK time. This week's show, first half is about relationships, how to deal with personal, social, global even relationships. Second half, anything you want. Ask me your questions about life. Second, just want to introduce Wahid again, and he's my old mate from since childhood. And all the happiness stuff we've got to talk about are from science and spirituality. So stuff that hopefully makes sense. Sorry, Wahid, you didn't get much of a chance to say something. Do you want to say something? Do you want to add in
All I'm going to
something?
just smash the like button.
Oh, thank you, Wahid. I think that's. Please do smash that like button. All right. Because if you smash that like button, maybe more people will check out the show and hopefully benefit. Because really, this show is not really just about views; it's about really making a difference. So let's get on with this. One massive important part of relationships is marriage or personal relationships, intimate relationships. So how do you find the right person to marry? Because if we can do that, if you can find the right kind of person, then you're going to solve a massive amount of problems in your life, because we are social beings. We need to solve that kind of problem. Now I'm going to kind of give you the bare bones of what it is. Okay, so for long-term happiness, marry someone kind. Now that sounds like, oh, that is so boring. You see, what most people like to go is kind of get really excited and marry somebody for the shape of their nose and the color of their eyes, right? You're going to get used to that. Like, that's what people, really intelligent people, do. They look for how their face looks like, even though they know they're probably going to get used to that face. Probably they don't realize that, but that's how materialism works. Okay. And then the second important thing is like attracts like. Okay, so you get a person as good as you. So people always kind of going, they want this perfect person and that perfect person, but they're not thinking about who they're like, and they don't understand this very important principle that like attracts like. And I'm going to talk about how that scientifically makes sense and logically makes sense. That if you're a good person, you attract a good person. If you're a selfish person, you naturally attract selfish people. Okay, and everybody thinks they're a good person, but we might have a serious conversation about what is a good person, or are you a good person? Am I a good person? Or are some maybe some searching questions? And then the last bit is, if you really want to find a good person, avoid materialism. That means getting obsessed with too many flashy stuff. Like, if you're going to attract a person with your Ferrari or your expensive car, you're going to attract a shallow person, right? And the second thing is, that's not so popular but used to be popular in this country: assisted marriages. I don't like calling arranged marriages because people get confused by that. Assisted marriages means just get more people involved in the matchmaking process. Okay, don't go like for dates, because I'm going to talk about why. Okay, because that basically in makes you do a lot of showing off, and it makes the other person do a lot of showing off, and then you don't get to meet the real person until you're in a relationship with them, and then it's too late. Then you find out later who they really are. Okay, okay, so that will help you basically find a good person. Now I want to stop talking, and I want to get you involved here, Wahid. So I love Wahid for loads of different reasons, and one is he's so genuine and so real. I'm going to put you on the spot, okay? And you can open up as much as you want, okay? You've been married before,
Yes,
all
yeah.
right? So this could be a hard topic to deal with, as much as you can handle, but I want to keep it as real as possible and useful as possible for the viewers. So, and I'll try to keep it as real as possible as well. I'm married, but it's not always, definitely not a bed of roses. Okay, but you can make it a bed of roses depending on what you do. You can make things better. So let me ask you, what do you think about marrying somebody kind? What are your thoughts about that?
Marrying somebody kind is the best thing you can ever have, you know,
Cool.
because you look at their kindness and not at their materialism and not what they have to offer, but you look at what's in their heart. But then sometimes, in all honesty, that's not enough for some people because some people might feel a bit of inferior complex. Now, when I say inferior,
Real.
I'm
Keep going.
I married it so you could marry a girl who is kind at heart, but then she may be a little bit too overweight. With all due respect to the overweight girls,
Hmm.
some boys or some girls may have a bit of an inferior complex because of size, or fearing that they are going to be overpowered in a relationship. I myself have experienced that 9 years ago.
Right.
The lady that I was married to was a little bit way overweight and she was not kind at heart.
Right.
But if she was, I still think I would have had that feeling of, or you could, that feeling of being overpowered. I mean, can this happen to some people?
So sure. Now let's dive into that. Let's make this really juicy but real. Okay. Here's a question for you. Everybody thinks that they're good, right? Everybody likes to think that they're good. But what would you say is good about you? Sounds really harsh, but like if you had a list of things, this is what I do for other people, what would you say that is?
About me personally,
Yeah, man. I'm putting you on the spot, mate. This is a dangerous show, mate. Keeping it real.
I I do have kindness within me, honestly.
Yes.
I can be
That's true.
friendly and I can be very caring, which I am. Of
Sure.
course, perfect. I've got my faults.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ask you, do you on a regular basis do some community work? Like every day? So I'm being mean, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it really real. We all, yeah, you know what? Average person in the street, they're basically nice people,
Mm,
right? But how comes there's so many terrible things happening in the world? Because when push comes to shove, people choose selfishness,
mm,
right? So we are not real enough with ourselves about how selfish we are, right? So I ask you a question, I'll ask myself the same question. And I ask that same question every day, every moment of my life. Really, I do. Right. So every day I wake up, and the first thing I have to do at 3 o'clock in the morning is like, what can I do for somebody else at 3 o'clock in the morning? Then
mm,
I'll do something for myself for 10 minutes. Then I'll do something for somebody else for the next 10 minutes. That's how crazy it is. Right. So it'll be like, I'll try to every week make sure teach somebody for free or something, right? And this is
yeah.
not showing off, I'm just trying to give it like a real thing, like every so I will do like 10 different things each day to support somebody else. So I'm writing a book, for example, that I'll get no money for. That would be the first thing I do. Or the second thing I have to do, I pray, and I'll be praying for other people. I don't really pray for myself either,
Mm.
right?
All right.
So that's the idea. So I'm like, how can I, I'll be like, first of all, like all my relatives and friends, how can, please, I'll be say, God, pray for them that they become better people and happier people. Because if you're a better person, then you're a happier person automatically,
Yeah.
right? So those are kind of things like non-stop. So be really harsh on yourself about what it means to be really good. So let me explain why that's so important about finding a good person. We all like to say we're good people, but if you think about what we do for other people, very few people can say we do all these things for free, no expectations. Like I am constantly being rude to people, are rude to me, and I'm nice to them. That's my normal day, right? So or not if rude, they just ignore me or something. I'm constantly stranger on the street trying to smile at them, all sorts of things, right? But why is it like attracts like? Think about it. If you're a really nasty person and you like, for example, bending the rules, other sort of criminal kind of nasty people will be attracted to you. Be like, oh yeah, I like how you broke that rule, how you stole a bit of money. Can I help you with that? But then good people are not attracted to that, right? And if you're an honest person and there's a liar, that liar would feel uncomfortable with you because they're like, oh no, are you going to keep telling the truth? Because I want to do something bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So naturally, good people are attracted to good people. And if you're an exceptionally good person, people who are really good, they're going to be looking out for you. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
next, hopefully, when you get married again, I really hope you do. Push yourself to become a better person, and there's kind of the practical reality, and I think that the spiritual reality where God attracts better people towards you. And that's kind of enough time for that, but thank you so much. I appreciate for the first question being really open about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, and I hopefully this kind of be sort of useful as well. Oh, I need to get rid of that space. All right, let's get rid of that space as well. Okay, cool. So, how do I deal with my loneliness? Right. So, all these things are millions of people, especially in the West, are dealing with. I want to give that sort of background. Loneliness is the biggest killer, right? And sometimes people don't realize how lonely they are. There's like they just seem to be like, there's something missing in my life. All I'm doing is watching TV. I don't seem to have much interaction. I feel really sad. What is that sadness? And it's loneliness. Loneliness is a massive problem. Even if you're surrounded by people, if you can't have a genuine conversation, you're lonely. Doesn't matter if you're surrounded by people at work. Okay, if you don't feel you can share your feelings with people at work or somebody, that means you're lonely, because loneliness is a feeling. It's not the number of people or fake friends you got on the internet or likes you get on the internet or something like that. That doesn't change your feeling. So loneliness is a massive problem. It's the biggest killer in the West. So it's no small thing. And if you're feeling it, hopefully this is going to help you. So loneliness grows in selfish societies. So one thing I want to get across: traveling is an awesome thing. It can give you such a massive mind shift. Okay, and why I'm talking about that is, and I've invited my friend Wahid to possibly come to Jordan with me, where people are a lot more social and people feel less lonely. I'm saying selfishness is so common in this country, and it doesn't mean people are nasty. Okay, people deep down want to be nice, but they're not nice enough to step out of their selfishness. They rather feel comfortable being by themselves. Say comfortable and sad and miserable. Okay, they're comfortable as in they don't have to try to do anything, but because of that comfort, you're stuck in a tiny little bubble of loneliness. So, I mean, I'll talk about the solution in a few seconds, but let me build it up a little bit. The world has plenty of fun problems to solve and people who want to work with you. So there's no shortage of people out there that is causing your loneliness. You are causing your loneliness. The selfishness is causing the loneliness. Okay. You, or I'm talking about people on the show, but also maybe you're suffering from that as well, maybe, right? Okay. And actually, I do as well at times. If I'm not really careful, I'm surrounded. I've got kids, I've got a wife, I've got loads of people in the family, but I can easily and have in the past a lot felt lonely, and I'll talk about that as well. Um, so the way you can do that is to help yourself out. You have to help others. Is the short answer. Okay, if you help other people, if you're um there to if you go out of your way, so for example, I don't know, I teach people for free, for example. Yeah, I do loads of things to just talk to people even if I'm not interested, but if I hear that they're lonely, I'll just talk to them, right? But what's the result? I end up talking to loads more people and I find more interesting conversations. Yeah, and loads more interesting things happen. So I could, for example, one thing I'm setting up is a street party. We have street parties here every time the queen gets a bit older. I don't know how it works, jubilee of some sort. Yeah. So yeah, any excuse, I will go out there and talk to my neighbors, and my neighbors, lovely people, but they're just typical British people, and they are too shy to say hello normally, and they know that. They know that's part of their culture, right? So I'm talking a lot, but that's kind of my intro. Selfishness is the cause of loneliness, and we think we're not selfish, but do we go out of our way to talk to people, to smile at people, to start a conversation? What do you do? Do you?
Well, depending, honestly, depending on what my mood is in. Sometimes the next door neighbor, they might not be in a good mood, and sometimes you hesitate because you look at their personality and you think, should I go and approach this guy? Sometimes you worry about being shunned. And that's
Yeah.
happened to me before, loads and loads of times.
Yeah.
Even saying good morning to somebody at work, I walk past this one of my colleague,
Okay.
morning, and she just practically ignored me, and I just felt, and you feel scared of being hurt by saying good morning, because I think the reason why they don't say good morning or hello these days because people are scared of being hurt.
Yes, I think you've touched something incredibly important, and this is why I love having guests, because I forget loads of things why people find things difficult. Okay, so why you're basically, I'm being really blunt to get to the point really quick, is that you are sensitive. Now, how do you stop feeling sensitive? That is a great question. And we talked on the phone, and we're building. I don't know if it was your question or some other question that I've got, which is bring, how do you become tough? How do you become resilient? I think that's one of your favorite words, isn't it? I don't know.
And how to, yeah, I don't know, how to become the showstopper
All right, showstopper and everything, right? Okay. The
of the.
simple way is, if you have a purpose, if you live with purpose, like, this is my mission in life and I know this thing makes sense, you automatically stop caring about all the tiny things that, oh, this person might think that, this person, there's a really good saying. It says, if you have any how, no, if you have a why in your life, then you can get through anyhow. There's a famous psychologist basically called Nietzsche, or Nietzsche, something like that, right? Okay. It's like, if you have a mission in your life, that makes doing anything really easy. So I'll give you an example of what you're talking about, like feeling like, oh, like, it's not like, when you said hello to that person at work, the person didn't shout at you, did they? They probably just made a little face, didn't they? Or they didn't respond quite like you thought.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes
It's not like they bashed you up or kicked you in the teeth, did
no,
they?
but generally, people in my work and in modern day society, people are genuinely miserable.
Okay, I live in the same society as you, basically, right? We're kind of London, whatever. Yeah, I know you're a bit out of London now, right? Okay, and I in London is more of a problem. Okay, people are more shy. Yet I can get people to smile and talk to me, right? The postman or whatever, I would stop him, and because I did it piece by piece. I was like, first of all, I'd smile at them, then I would say hello, and then after weeks and weeks of doing that, I'll slowly get their name, and then these strangers, right? And I'm on a mission, you see. And when you're on a mission, you don't care about these things. And the number one way to become, like you're saying, a showstopper, like a powerful thing to reckon with, like, people feel that you got massive personality, like people might, I've always had this experience of not showing off at all, that when I was at university and wherever I was, because I really didn't, I cared about my principles more than what people thought. My personality seemed to be huge, so everybody would be like, oh, like, it's Khalid, okay, like, I would be well known when the whole, wherever I go, sort of thing, right? um so how you do that is, the spiritual teaching is that if you care only about, that you're going to face God in the next life, and you're going to have to account for everything you did, then you only care what God thinks. Like, God is watching me right now, And if I'm going to do a wrong thing, then God's going to remember that. If I'm going to do a right thing, God is going to remember that, right? And when you start caring about what God thinks, then all the other human beings become puny, unimportant. Do you get it?
Mm,
Like, it doesn't matter what they think, and it takes a bit of time. Like, maybe it's really, uh, I want you to be, I want you to 1% get this, not 100%, right? And I want it to change how you feel. Like, if you really just start thinking, try this maybe until next show, yeah. Try to think more what God thinks. So be like you are very lucky that you get dreams, yeah, true dreams that you see your mom, you see your dad, and you ask God for it. So there's a God there, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe a lot more than some other people. So now be aware that God is watching you. And so do the right thing. You're not smiling to the other person or saying hello to the person at work for your sake. You're saying it for their sake. And when you do stuff for other people, then you become more free as well. Like you're being nice to the other person, and then eventually the person will be nice back to you, and eventually you're going to have more interesting relationships and conversations rather than being trapped more and more in a tiny hole. I don't know. Give me some feedback. Like, any thoughts about that?
Certain people, I mean, you could say that there are certain individuals that you judge and you look at, and certain individuals, by just, you know, certain individuals freak you out, and there's a certain individual that probably won't kind of freak you out. I mean, I don't know why this is with me that, or with some people, like, oh, if I see a guy, he looks a bit an awkward customer, don't say anything to him, might kind of lash out or something. Whereas,
Cool. Let's go. That is basically, that's what you're talking about, is this topic now. How do you handle toxic people, right? So toxic is a really general word. Okay. Now you might not be in thinking of him a toxic person, but like somehow a scary person in some way, somehow you might. Now I'm gonna repeat this. These people who you're scared of, they're not probably not going to kick you in the teeth. Okay, it's something a lot more subtle than that. It's like, oh, they might not smile at you. Okay, that's how how sensitive we've become. And this is the thing that I think people are missing. Okay, people are making excuses, and I think I'm going to be tough on you. You're making excuses, right? Okay, I want you to get out of the excuses for your sake. People making excuses because they don't realize that they are the ones that lose. So the more you are scared of people, the more miserable your day is. Let me try to give you a picture of how amazing your day at work could be. Okay, imagine you think you're at work, you're in a DIY shop, right?
yeah,
B&Q or something, right? Okay, imagine you thought your job was to help people. You're there to help people, and they're not just people. Every single one of them, this is really important, every single one of them is your brother or sister. And they are actually. They are your brothers and sisters. It's a very tiny human family. I won't say tiny human family. You might say, oh, there's billions of us. Well, think about it. We're the only little group in millions and billions of miles between us. Like, there's no other living beings outside Earth for millions and millions of miles. We're actually quite a lonely little planet. So we should value the human family that we're part of, right? And the more we value it, the more we'll kind of enjoy it. So what I'm trying to really trying to get across to you, you as an individual, forget everybody watching the show, right? Because I want it, if it works for you, maybe it'll work for other people. Imagine you're going into work, and when the people are getting the tools and the screwdrivers and the whatever, they're trying to fix up their home. They're trying to make it better, and you're going to help them,
that's
right?
a
And these are not ordinary people. These are your brothers and sisters, even the big ones with the tattoos.
well,
Yeah.
yeah. Look, they are. I know.
Right. But I'm not making this stuff up. This is what I genuinely feel.
Yeah,
So when I see a massive person or something, and even if he's got rings in his nose and like really grumpy, angry face, I'm actually genuinely trying to make eye contact with them and smile at them, because even though they look big and tough, okay, I know because I talk to so many people about their personal things, right? I know these, even be the big and tough people, they're really miserable and sad inside, and they want somebody to talk to them. They're desperate for it. Okay, these are whatever feelings you have of loneliness, they've got it as well. Chances are, probabilities are, because that is such a massive problem in the country. So if I can even 1% make you realize that, then when you see the next scary person, you might just see him a little bit differently. You might see her a little bit differently than the way you were. And that 1% change, even if it doesn't change you right now, after maybe 100 shows, me and you doing this together, I think after 1 times 100%, 1% changes 100 times, it will totally change your perspective. So I'm not even looking to change your life right now. I'm trying to change yourself, change you 1%, for not for the show, for you, for your benefit, 100%. Right? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, okay, I want you to do an exercise right now. Think of the last person, think of the person who at work, who, when you said hello to him, was it him or her? Let's keep it 100% real.
It was a her.
Okay, her, right? Okay, visualize her. Now, visualize her as your sister. How hard is that to do? Like your sister in the human family.
Well,
Is it? It's pretty hard, right?
it is.
Tell me the hardest bit about that, because if I can, I know I'm getting deep in this one thing, but this could be the one thing that's stopping so many people as well. Okay, now what's so hard about seeing her as your sister? What's so hard about it?
It's hard in a way. Well, it's we've not seen each other before, and
But don't you see her every day at work?
not anymore. She left now.
Oh, okay, fine.
Years ago, it's
Okay.
2 years ago.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, so does that mean that you can't think of another mean person at work?
Yeah, maybe,
Are they all mean at work?
maybe not mean, but I would say
Are you scared of saying hello to them and smiling at them when you come to work?
one or two. Yeah, I would say
Oh,
there's a but there's a lot of miserable people there, mate.
right. Okay, I'm going to tell you something that might shock you. They think the same about you. You know why? How I know that?
You know,
How do I know that they think the same about you, that you're miserable? Do you know how I know?
because I don't go it because I maybe because I probably don't say
Because you don't, exactly. You
no, but
don't bust into B&Q
but
every day. This is what I would do. If I would B&Q, I would do this, right? Because I do this every place I go to, and I'll tell you about it. I'll bust into B&Q every morning. Be like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?" And people would smile when they come look at me. It's inevitable. Can you deny that if I bust into B&Q to work every day, imagine I was you and I was doing your job, and every day I would say hello, whatever. First of all, they would not think I'm miserable. But if I don't, and if I'm like everybody else, they would think I'm miserable. What do you think?
it's a really good thing, mate. I know, yeah, but this is I would say personally, I'm very, very strange. Here's the thing about me.
No, no.
What?
Okay, let me put you on the spot. No, just a yes or no answer.
Yeah,
Can you agree that if you're not smiling when you come into work, and you're not saying hello to everybody when you're coming into work, like you're not joyful and you're not trying to be nice to, do you agree that they might see you as miserable as well?
yeah, I'll see. Yeah,
Right. I wanted you just to say that. Now you can say whatever you're going to say. Go on.
yeah, because the strange thing with me is like, so if I know a certain person like you and my cousins and people like that, I'm like, I just hit the jackpot. Like I'm just, you know, the word like, I would, or sometimes I can be an absolute
I
crack.
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but that's probably true of other people as well. All those people you think are miserable, they hit the jackpot when they're with their mates as well,
Yeah,
right? So maybe try to imagine that, but you don't know that, so you have to try. And the last thing I want to say, this is the thing that will turn it for you, and I kind of said it already, right? If you make it your mission in life to make the world a better place, you'll become much stronger. Really, really. I'm a shy person, I've said this before, but because I've got a mission in life, I can do loads of things that brave people can't do.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's just how the human mind works. This psychology, that if you have a mission in life, if you got a purpose, if you live with purpose, this is what a psychologist has said, you'll be able to do so many things that nobody else can. That's a simple, short version of it. Yeah, Man's Search for Meaning, great book about that. Maybe check that out. It talks about exactly that sort of thing. So I'm just trying to say, keep it really short. Can you imagine if you had a mission in life that you would be more brave?
You would be, yeah.
That's what I want you to hold on to.
Mm.
Try to have a mission in life. I really want that for you. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to try to ask you next time I talk to you about this, right? Anyway, next one. Sorry, I know I'm keep pushing forwards. Let's keep going. Next one. This is your question. Yeah. How do you deal with jealous people?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to whiz through a few things and then you're going to tell me what you think. Okay, so happy people do not depend on stuff. Their happiness cannot be stolen. So, why am I talking about that? Because if you're scared of jealous people, okay, you're scared that they're going to take something from you. But really happy people, you can't steal their happiness. There's nothing you can take from me. You take my camera or my computer, I'm still going to be happy, right? Even though like my computer is one of my most expensive things I have. Like we don't actually have much stuff in our house either, right? And we're happy and well, I'm personally proud of that, right? Okay, like most people paint their walls and all this kind of stuff. We are peeling wallpaper. We've like if people almost. My mum gets scared when she's in the house. Like, oh my god, why is your house messed up, right? Because we don't care about it. The stuff. We actually spend all our money on other people and doing stuff for other people, and then we're much happier for it. Yeah. Okay. So happy people don't rely on stuff, so you can't steal their happiness, so you don't have to be scared of jealous people. Number one, that's the number one thing. Okay, now if you want to feel like you've got everything, you've got so much that even if they steal something from you, it doesn't matter. Okay, you want something which is known, if you check it on YouTube, it's called the abundance mindset. Do you know what I mean by abundance?
Abundance, like a loads more, like
Loads of stuff, right? If you want
stuff,
to
man.
yeah,
You
you want to feel like you've got loads of stuff, there's two ways of doing it. There's two things you should do. Okay, one is self-worth. Okay, like the reason why you are scared, and then this is when I say you, I'm talking about most people are scared of jealous people. Okay, it's because they don't feel like they've got much. So if somebody takes something for you, they feel like, oh, we're empty, we've got nothing, and they're really scared of that. But if you feel like you got tons of stuff, you got no problems. Like if somebody takes something, you got £1,000,000 left, right? Okay, but I don't have £1,000,000 and I still have an abundance mindset, right? So how do you do that? One is self-worth. Now, when you have self-worth and you only have self-worth, you cannot fake build it. You've got a conscience, and again, Viktor Frankl, I'm thinking you'd have to memorize this, but anybody who's really interested in psychologists and checking out the science, okay, Viktor Frankl talks about this kind of stuff, right? If you want to if you want to feel happy, you're going to have a meaningful life. And if you want to have a meaningful life, all you have to do is one thing, and you cannot lie to it. It's called your conscience. Like you do something bad, you cannot lie to it. And your conscience is not just something that religious people talk about. Viktor Frankl is a psychologist, one of the top psychologists of all time, right? Okay, he's talking about this stuff, right? He says, like, if you want to feel happy, listen to your conscience. Your conscience is going to tell you the right thing. Some magical force out there, for some reason, it knows what the right thing is. Okay, and so then you have self-worth. That self-worth makes it like you have everything in life. Like actually you do have loads of stuff in life. Okay, you've got air, you got beautiful sunlight, but you don't count it. But when you have self-worth, you feel so good about your life that every tiny thing you have, like I'm going to eat tonight, I genuinely feel grateful for whatever I'm going to eat. And I haven't eaten all day, by the way, right? So I ate like 3 o'clock in the morning or something, 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And I didn't eat much either. And whatever I had, that was good. Just a bit of rice and a bit of yogurt and a bit of tea. And that was fantastic. Right. So when you feel good about yourself, you're going to feel fantastic about every tiny thing you have. Right. Um, so self worth is number one. If you feel good about yourself, I don't know. Okay. I want to give you a chance to talk. Right. So even if you understood the self-worth bit, that would be brilliant. Okay. Can you imagine, like, if you felt good about yourself as a human being, maybe this is hard to imagine, I don't know, right? If you felt good about yourself as a human being, would you feel more alive? Can you imagine that? I don't know. Tell me.
Possibly you would if you felt good about yourself, and you will. Yeah, you would.
About who you are as a person. If you thought you are genuinely a good person, like so good that you impact others, not just I'm a nice person, you're a force that you are, like I was talking about, not like this, oh, I think I'm a good person, like genuinely every day I'm doing good things, right? If you felt, I don't know, maybe I'm putting too many rules. Like if you genuinely thought you were a really good person, could you, I don't know, would you feel like you could, feel good? I don't know how to put it.
You'd feel
I,
alive. You'd feel more satisfied. Yeah.
yeah, satisfied. That's the word. Yeah.
Well, of course you would. Because you would feel that you are making that impact not only on yourself, but also if you could do it on others, making an impact on society and for those around you.
Yeah, and so let's put it and imagine a selfish person, right? Can you imagine that the reason why selfish people need so many things like expensive watches and expensive clothes is because they feel so empty inside?
And the
Can you
fact is,
imagine?
yeah, and the fact is that they're never quite satisfied because they want more due to selfish people are more greedy.
Great. So I think we are very good at spotting, and this is really helpful for us human beings. We're good at spotting faults in other people.
Hmm.
Okay, and this is something Jesus Christ said, right? He said, Jesus, peace be upon him, we believe in him as a prophet. We're Muslims, so we believe in him as a prophet, but whatever, right? He said that human beings can see the they can see a stone in somebody else's eye, but they cannot see a boulder in their own eyes. But basically, they cannot see the massive problems in themselves, but they can see the tiniest problems in other people. Now that can be useful, okay, if you can spot a tiny problem in somebody else, then you should look back and say honestly, do I not have the same problem honestly? And the
Hmm.
reason why you should dig out every problem in you, because every time you fix that, you become a happier person. Because when you're a better person, what does better person mean? It's like a better person means there's more social person, and a more social person has more friends.
You couldn't have said it. Couldn't have said it in a nicer way. Spot on there, mate. Right on the money there.
Cool. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So, and I have felt lonely and had lots of problems and jealousy and all of it. And what you do is you don't think of yourself as a fixed thing. See yourself as a possibly continuously growing person. I mean, you can't really be a growing person if you're not making changes every day. So make a 1% change every day. There's a fantastic video. I do recommend also that when you keep learning, like don't watch rubbish TikTok videos. Fill your mind with really good stuff. Okay. So I recommend massively go to my website, bigquestionsanswer.com. It's in the description, right? And just check out some of the videos, not even my videos. I got videos from spiritual leaders and different things. check them out, fill your brain with all this wisdom, and you'll start growing and growing every day. 1% grow, and when you grow, you feel abundant. Now I want to quickly throw in the other bit, right? The last bit. Okay, so if you're a good person, you feel, what was that word? You feel content, I think, or something else you said.
Satisfied or
Satisfied, right? So everything is a bonus. If you get a sweet, you're like, oh, I'm already got my hands are full with all the blessings I've got already, and I've got a sweet on top of it. Wicked day, right?
yeah,
Okay, but on top of that, when you help people, your potential grows. Like your value as a person, like all business and all money is made by doing things that people want to pay you for, and those things are services. The more service orientated you are, the more powerful, more useful you become, and more potential you have for attracting stuff to you, more money, more people, more everything. Don't you think more people want to marry you, for example, if you have tons of potential? You're a person who can help. You've got the skills to help loads of people, but you only get the skills by practicing them. I've done loads of things. Like I did loads of stuff for free, and then I charged for it later on. So somebody asked me to make a website, and that person, just to help you to understand, was really rude to me when I was volunteering, and I didn't say a word. But later on, that same technology that I learned because of volunteering made me loads of money. So just keep helping. Don't worry if people are rude to you. That's the nature of society at the moment. It's a selfish society at the moment. So you must be crazy to think nobody's going to be rude to you. Okay. So, and don't let yourself down because somebody else is being rude, sort of thing. Right. So anyway, oh, here's a fantastic question. And you didn't remind me. Let's write it down right now.
so,
What was the question? How do you deal with depression? And
yeah,
should I take medicine or something like that?
yeah.
Huh.
How do you deal with depression, and is medicine the right way?
You'll become more aware the more you help people. So the reason why I know this stuff is because I'm just helping people all the time, and my awareness becomes greater, and then I know how to avoid unhappiness. So, like, if you help people, you're going to help yourself. It's a short answer because the time's run out. If you say, you know, I want to be able to express myself and tell people my problems, right? Tell them for their sake. Like, but don't whine about it too much because you'll bore them in the beginning because they're not ready for it. Because you want them to tell them you want them to tell you their problems. So tell them a little bit, but tell it to make them feel good. And then you'll feel relieved as well that you're connected a little bit. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Probably does. Yeah, I think
I
it does.
don't know. I hope it helped 1%. I hope, guys, that it helped you guys even 1%. Because if you keep that up, you'll change your life, right? Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Wahid.
thank you, me. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you smash the like button.
That's right. Smash the like button. Thank you so much, Wahid, man. You were like really open. Most people are too scared to even come on the show and be real.
Yeah,
Uh, you must have helped so many people just by that. And I hope you feel
yeah,
that you help people.
well,
Okay.
yeah,
You feel better about yourself and you become more powerful and strong because of it. You're
yeah.
like, when you feel good about yourself, there's nothing that can stop you. Anyway, press that like button. Join me next week. I'm going to end this live stream and carry on chatting with you, Wahid. You can tell me